That's right. When the Allman Brothers interrupts the final countdown, you know it's office hours with DJ Doc V. Good morning, Vaqueros. Friday, March 22nd. It's 5 minutes after the hour. I am DJ Doc V. You're listening to Office Hours. We've got a great hour of music set up for you. That was the Allman Brothers with Whippin' Post. Ooh, such a good one. We've got some great music coming up for it. And also a special dedication coming up in the next 3-song set, so make sure you stay tuned for that. We've got CCR coming up probably around the bottom of the hour or so, as we do every week on Office Hours. We've got This Day in History, and I got a great poem picked out from the 2023 edition of Gallery Magazine, another great production of UTRGV Student Media. It is sunny skies this morning, and it looks like we're back to regular RGV weather. We're expecting a high of 92 degrees and sunny skies today. Over the weekend, a little bit of a drop in temperature to 80s. That'll be really nice and pleasant. Maybe we'll go out and ride our bike tomorrow, something like that. 81 tomorrow, sunny skies. 86 degrees on Sunday. It looks like we're expecting some wind in the forecast, and then on Monday, partly cloudy skies, 88 degrees, and Tuesday back sunny skies, 82 degrees in the beautiful Rio Grande Valley. We're broadcasting from the Edinburgh studio on the UTRGV campus here in Edinburgh. But at 11 o'clock, remember, make sure you stay tuned, because the Feminist Hour will be broadcasting out of our Brownsville studio. Got some, let's see what else is coming on by here. Hey, our baseball team, in case you haven't noticed, they've got a nice winning record here. Are 11-8, 1-2 in the conference, but they're playing this weekend. They're hosting Grand Canyon tonight at 6:30 p.m. at the baseball stadium. Tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. and then Sunday at noon, closing out the 3-game series with Grand Canyon University. So make sure you get out there and support the Vaqueros baseball team. Great venue to see a game, especially in the evening once the sun starts going down here in Edinburgh. So make sure you, if you're able, get out there, support your Vaqueros. Let's get back to the music now. Another classic, right around, a little bit earlier than the Allman Brothers here. This one's by Robbie Robertson and the band. It's called The Wait. Only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. It's Train with Marry Me. Special request going out to my friend Bill and his bride Erica out on the East Coast there. Regular listeners to Office Hours probably heard me mention my friend Bill out there on the East Coast. Boy, I got emotional over this. I don't know. Goodness. Well, I know. I got to be professional. Be professional. Let me just say, lots of love, positive energy going out to my friends, Bill and Erica out on the East Coast. Hard to believe it. I've known that guy for over 40 years. 40.
I'm 23 years old. So
I've known my friend Bill longer than you've been alive.
Yes.
Whew, man. Sometimes it just, music's such an incredible medium that, it brings you back to moments in your life. So, something else. Well, hey, let's get back to the music. I think we're going to kick it up a notch with a little bit of the Seattle sound. Here's a great band. I guess I'd go so far as to call it a supergroup. Tom Morello, Tim Comerford, and Brad Wilk with vocals by Soundgarden's Chris Cornell. This is Audio Slave with Cochise from their self-titled debut album, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. We haven't played any, George Thorogood and the Destroyers on Office Hours, I don't think ever. So I might have to fix that one of these days and play some George Thorogood. Thanks for tuning in, Vaqueros. This is DJ Doc V. You're listening to Office Hours. 32 minutes after the hour, you just heard Nirvana, part of that Seattle sound, with Smells Like Teen Spirit from their Nevermind LP. And we started that one off with Audio Slave and Cochise. Where else are you going to hear that stuff here in the Valley? I'll tell you that. All right, as we do every week on Office Hours, we've got This Day in History. And in an effort to raise funds to pay off debts and defend the vast new American territories won from the French in the 7 Years' War, which took place from 1756 to 1763, the British government passes the Stamp Act on March 22nd, 1765. The legislation levied a direct tax on all materials printed for commercial and legal use in the colonies, from newspapers and pamphlets to playing cards and dice. Though the Stamp Act employed a strategy that was a common fundraising vehicle in England, it stirred a storm of protest in the colonies. The colonists had recently been hit with three major taxes: the Sugar Act from 1764, which levied new duties on imports of textiles, wines, coffee, and sugar; the Currency Act in 1764, which caused a major decline in the value of the paper money used by colonists; and the Quartering Act in 1765, which required colonists to provide food and lodging to British troops under certain circumstances. With the passing of the Stamp Act, the colonists' grumbling finally became an articulated response to what they saw as the mother country's attempt to undermine their economic strength and independence. They raised the issue of taxation without representation and formed societies throughout the colonies to rally against the British government and nobles who sought to exploit the colonies as a source of revenue and raw materials. By October of that year, 9 of the 13 colonies sent representatives to the Stamp Act Congress, at which the colonists drafted the Declaration of Rights and Grievances, a document that railed against the autocratic policies of the mercantilist British Empire. A mere 11 years later, we would find ourselves at war with the British Empire with the beginning of the Revolutionary War in July of 1776. Also on this day, March 22nd, 1934, the first Masters golf tournament begins. In 1893, the first women's college basketball game is played. And in 2014, a mudslide in Washington state kills more than 40 people, with that national disaster out there. In 1820, an American naval hero was killed in a duel. And in 1972, the Equal Rights Amendment was passed by Congress. Never ratified, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. The Equal Rights Amendment passed by the U.S. Senate and sent to the states for ratification. This Equal Rights Amendment was first proposed by the National Women's Political Party in 1923. The Equal Rights Amendment was to provide for the legal equality of the sexes and prohibit discrimination on the basis of sex. More than 4 decades later, the revival of feminism in the late 1960s spurred its introduction into Congress. Under the leadership of U.S. Representative Bella Abzug of New York and feminists Betty Friedan and Gloria Steinem, it won the requisite 2/3 vote from the U.S. House of Representatives in October of 1971. In March of 1972, it was approved by the U.S. Senate and sent to the states. Hawaii was the first state to ratify what would have been the 27th Amendment, followed by some 30 states within a year. However, during the mid-1970s, a conservative backlash against feminism eroded support for the Equal Rights Amendment, which ultimately failed to achieve ratification by the requisite 38 or 3/4 of the states by the deadline set by Congress. Because of rejection of the Equal Rights Amendment, gender equality, with the notable exception of when it pertains to the right to vote, is not protected by the U.S. Constitution. However, in the late 20th century, the federal government and all states have passed considerable legislation protecting the legal rights of women. The Equal Rights Amendment, in its most recently proposed form, reads, quote, "Equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on account of sex." So, still being kicking around. It gets introduced every so often in Congress, but never got the requisite number of states. So it's still not part of the U.S. Constitution, fortunately or unfortunately, however you view that. All right, let's get back to the music here. We're going to take it back a bit and give you a little CCR. And you're only going to hear it on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. Meddle album released in the fall of 1971. That was Fearless by Pink Floyd. Before that, you heard Derek and the Dominoes with Eric Clapton on the lead vocals there. And Layla. We started off that set with Creedence Clearwater Revival and Fortunate Son. As we do every week, thanks for tuning in. Vaqueros, this is DJ Doc V. 74 degrees in the upper Rio Grande Valley. Sunny skies, a high of 91 today. Looks like 55 degrees in Albuquerque, 36 degrees, sunny skies in Westport, Massachusetts, 57 degrees and cloudy skies in Oklahoma City, and a balmy 44 degrees in Spokane, Washington. Shout out to Steve, who's riding his motorcycle to work back and forth today. Stay safe, brother. Stay safe. As we do every week on Office Hours, I've got a great poem picked out for you. This one from the 2023 Gallery Magazine, another fine production of UTRGV Student Media. This is a poem titled Wake Up by Alondra Ramirez. Wake up and realize the truth. You walk the world so blindly that a blind is full of you. Wake up from what seems like a dream but feels like a nightmare. Surrounded by darkness with no light, pain is craved due to fixation. A river pours down your face, eyes filled with red spider webs, skin filled with yellow, purple, and black. Lips broken by wounds, jaw shattered like glass, ribs pried open like an animal, hips have worn out, broken smile, trauma in the brain. The cycle repeats as the mind and eyes are asleep. That's a poem titled Wake Up by Alondra Ramirez from the 2023 edition of Gallery Magazine. They're already talking about the 2024 edition of Gallery Magazine. Should be out soon, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. That will be in various locations on campus for you to pick up for free. Very high-quality magazine, by the way, and we've got a great reputation for our student media department all over the state of Texas. We've got time for one more song. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you stay tuned. Check out the Feminist Hour coming up at the top of the hour. But let's end this one with The Pogues and If I Should Fall from Grace with God. Have a great Friday, Vaqueros. Be well.